I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to fear death, instead of realizing that fear of death is the mask behind which I hide the actual fear, which is losing that which I have defined me as even within the mind. As the personality I have become, I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed fear of death to control me and have power over me, instead of realizing that, if fear of death exists within me, I am not actually living here. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that behind fear of aging actually exists the fear of death. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that I created the illusion of hell to validate and justify my fear of death. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that I created the illusion of heaven as an attempt to subdue and suppress the fear of death existent within me. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to create the illusion of hell as a separate manifested entity which represents all dishonesties existent within me, which I have refused to face, and in this refusal, hid me as the truth of me behind fictional tales such as the existence of heaven and hell. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that fear of death was programmed into me to become me, to remain enslaved to fear itself within the very acceptance and allowance of fear of death. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that mourning another's death is actually me mourning for myself, because of sorrow and shame and regret for what I have done and become, yet still in the face of it all, not standing up and taking self-responsibility for me, as all is one, as equal as life, but continue hiding behind the mind of emotions and feelings. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to believe that earth, as the physical, is the prison within which I am trapped, and that death is my only savior, when the prison I am in is prisoner within my own mind. As I accept and allow myself to be imprisoned within it, by my accepted and allowed participation within the belief of fear of death, I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that in accepting and allowing fear of death to exist within me, I manifest experiences, conditions, and events within me in this world as me that validate this fear, and also experiences, conditions, and events that validate the existence of death itself within this world and all others as me. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to project my fears onto my children, creating a reality for them as me that consists of and exist as the principle of fear of death, where no actual, unconditional living and self-expression as life is possible, because death has become us, and so manifested this reality as who and what we accepted and allowed ourselves to be and become. I forgive myself that I have accepted and allowed myself to project my fear of death onto others, and to ensure my own protection from my fear of death. Others as me must suffer on my behalf, and within this acceptance and allowance of another as me suffering, due to me wanting to protect myself from my own fear of death, I accept and allow suffering to exist in this world as me. I forgive myself that I haven't allowed myself to realize that in accepting and allowing fear of death within me, I accept and allow the very existence of death within this world as me. The glory of heaven is a figment of your imagination, because you're in hell is where you are, right here in and as this world that we manifested, created and designed, because of accepted and allowed fear of death.